Can we go ahead and begin with housekeeping, please?
Thank you for participating in today's meeting. If attending in person, please do not connect to Zoom or teleconference while in the room, and please silence all devices. If translation is provided, click on the globe at the bottom of your screen to select either English or Spanish. Public comment will be taken after each item. If you're in the auditorium and wish to comment, please use the iPads located in the lobby or complete a blue speaker card as available. If you need assistance, please find a South Coast AQMD employee. Speakers may be limited to a total of 3 minutes or less for all agenda items. Times may be shortened to ensure all speakers can be heard. A countdown timer will be displayed on the screen for each public comment. More time will be allotted for Spanish translation that is not simultaneous. For questions or issues on making a public comment, please call the public advisor at 909-396-2432. That's 909-396-2432. Please adhere to the speaker time limit and treat others with courtesy, civility, and respect. Failure to do so can result in your mic being muted or you being removed from the meeting. Be aware that this meeting is being recorded. By participating, you authorize recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain by South Coast AQMD.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry I was late.
Good morning.
Do we have enough committee members? We're missing McKellen and Supervisor Perez.
Supervisor Hagman has graciously accepted your appointment to stand in for the committee.
Morning,
Thank
Madam
you, Supervisor Hagman. It's going to be a good one. Really long. Okay. Appreciate it. All right, let's get started. Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Cacchiotti.
Here.
Supervisor Hagman.
Present.
Mayor McCallum. Absent. Supervisor Perez. Absent. And Chair Delgado.
And I'm here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Any board member concerns that anybody wants to review? I don't have any. With that, we'll go to approved report of travel. I'm trying to bring it up here, see if there's any.
Couple.
All right, we need a, is there any questions of that? We don't need to do a motion then. Is that correct?
No, we do not.
Okay.
Just a report.
Okay, all right. So there's some items there. And out of country travel.
Again, just a report. We had Dr. Shen's travel in Netherlands for the Electric and Hybrid Marine Expo in Europe.
Great. Any questions about the September 5th governing board agenda?
Nope.
Okay. Cruising right through. Approval of compensation of board member assistants.
Move approval.
Can we get a second?
I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic on, but I second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Cacchiotti.
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman.
Hagman, aye.
Mayor McCallum. Absent. Supervisor Perez. Absent. And Chair Delgado.
Yes.
Motion passes 3 with 2 absent.
Okay. With that, we go to Dr. Herb Johnson on the internal engagement activity report.
Good morning. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. I'm very grateful for this chance to be able to share what our community engagement efforts have been in the past month of June and July. Next slide, please. And as always, it is Friday, and so I'd like to introduce you all to Vandana Shiva. She is an environmental activist who started off as a physicist, and she really advocates for ecological sustainability. She is based in New Delhi in India. And particularly her activism connects climate change, deforestation and pollution, and worsening air quality, especially in our disproportionately low income communities and how they're impacted. The reason why I've chosen her is because of her relevance to even our AB 617 program. Although it is based in India, I think much can be learned from learning how other communities, other countries are dealing with very similar issues. And so this is Vandana Shiva, and she is our Fabulous Female Friday for today. Thank you very much. Next slide. Oh my goodness. I got to tell you, we had the pleasure to be able to work with our governing board summer interns over the past 2 months. This was the first year that we've had both our cohort model, but also having 3 separate start times. That was to accommodate the differing higher education institutions' academic schedules. So we have pretty equal number of both semester systems and quarter systems, even from the private and the public, the 4-year and the 2-year. And so we've had a 10-week, 8-week, and 6-week program. I would also like to say that this was a year, too, that we had our legal interns that we have that aren't a part of the governing board intern program, but they also were able to join us in many of the different activities that we did throughout the summer. Next slide, please. Something that we were able to do this summer as well, taking a little bit of vice chair, getting out in the community kind of thing. We were able to do 3 engagement opportunities over the past summer. We did what we call our C3PO, our Critical Community Conversations for Purposeful Outreach. So we're able to take all of our interns, so a total of 30 folks out into, we were able to go out into the South LA community. So we worked with Watts Clean Air and Legacy LA, 2 of our CSC members, to be able to just walk them through the neighborhoods and to see firsthand what is it like when you see the rails in the neighborhoods? What does it look like when you see the industry next to the schools? It was very eye-opening for the students to be able to see that and then to hear the words from our community members directly. We were also able to participate in Phillips 76 refinery tour, and they talked real with the students. I mean, they didn't hold anything back. They really did speak highly of the efforts that they're making, environmental changes and so forth. With the students, and we were actually able to take a tour. You'll see the photos there. So it was really firsthand experience to see how the industry operates. Really, truly have to do a shout out to our compliance and enforcement and our monitoring and analysis teams for helping to facilitate this happening. And then lastly, we did an oil and gas experience, and where we brought also with compliance and enforcement, came together to see how we address air pollutions from the goods movements and fossil fuel infrastructure. And so we had several of the interns. I think they were at 99%. Like there was like one intern who didn't go on one of them, but they were all very engaged in these opportunities. So much so that many staff were like, can we go? So it was really, really interesting. So we were very pleased to be able to provide this opportunity for our summer interns this past couple months. Next slide, please. And as always, we were able to participate in a second annual Juneteenth celebration. So as I promised, I would show pictures. So we had an in-person event, and we had 194 folks in our GB room. And so we worked with our Barack Employee Resource Group Change to provide education. It really promoted workplace engagement as the event talked a lot about how we can foster understanding of our communities, what are the issues that are impacting our community. And so it was very much so, I think, in our mission to keep an informed and inclusive workplace. And then they danced. So they could not sit still. So it was definitely a celebration of Juneteenth. Next slide, please. We also, on a very kind of serious front, had a kind of a training for staff on nonviolent communication patterns. What we were seeing was in response to a lot of issues that were going on in our communities, that folks really didn't know how to do really kind of positive conflict resolution. And so for the month of June, we did a workshop on exploring strategies to improve nonviolent communication toward marginalized communities. We really wanted to give our staff some skills because we recognize that when we're doing the work, we're going out in the community, that folks aren't always comfortable with government having a presence. And so we really want our staff to walk away with knowledge and skills to be able to handle it. We can't promise that things are not going to be in conflict, but we really want to make sure that our staff have the experience and the knowledge to be able to respond to that. So we're really great to partner with Groundswell to provide this training for us in June. And we had like 33 members of our team participate in that. Next slide, please. Here are just a copies of the displays that I'm sure if you all come in during the month of June, we're able to see for both Juneteenth and Pride Month displays. Again, our staff, as they don't come in every day, give us really good feedback over the takeaways, the information, the books, the things that they can do to raise their own knowledge about our communities. Next slide. And here again are the infographics that we had for the month of June for Juneteenth. And again, this is our passive way to be able to share with our employees information about the different history months and commemorative months. But they get it, in their email box. So we aren't always able to have a display. We're not always able to have an event. And so we don't want there to ever be a reason for folks to say that they did not know. So these were our infographics for the month of June. Next slide. And then lastly, continuing on in our community engagement, our Halos Employee Resource Group organized a museum event in the Museum of Latin American Art, which is in Long Beach, was again one of our AB 617 communities. And so it was really important for our employees to really get into the community. This is something that they have talked more about. So this is really a merging of our workplace and community engagement opportunities. And so we're very pleased that the Halos Group was able to organize several employees to be able to participate in that Museum of Latin American Art tour over in Long Beach. Next slide. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Wonderful. I just wanted to take a second to thank you for all your work on the with the interns. They were ecstatic. It's one of the best kind of receptions that I've seen. So whatever you're doing, it's working. So thank you. I think I saw the vice chair wanted to say something.
I just want to compliment what the chair said, talking to some of the kids afterwards and their parents. They just said it was an unreal experience and they'll never forget it. And it changed their focus in college, wherever they are, on maybe looking at a career in pollution. So thanks a lot.
Oh, no. And if I could say, this truly was a team effort. All divisions across this agency, supervisors, everyone was on board with really engaging in this cohort model. So we really could not have done it without the entire AQMD team. So thank you so much.
Great. All right. Any other questions on the presentation? All right. Thank you. That brings us to Sujata Jain and the fourth quarter budget versus actual.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. Sujata Jain, Chief Financial Officer. So this is our, the presentation is going to be on our budget versus actual results for the fourth quarter for fiscal year 24-25 that ended on June 30th, 2025. So I'll go over a summary of the results, and I'll also be providing comparison of revenue with the last year's fourth quarter. And similarly for expenditures, I'll be providing the results of this fiscal year compared to last fiscal years. And then there's a slide that shows the use of fund balance. And then I have a slide on our 5-year projection. Next slide, please. So as a summary, this slide is showing what our adopted budget was for fiscal year 24-25. For revenues, it was 209.5 million, and expenditures were at 211.4 million. There were some amendments throughout the year, and then we ended the fiscal year, and I just want to say that these are still unaudited numbers, but the revenues are coming at 215.5 million, and expenditures are at about $216.6 million. Next slide, please. So here is the revenue comparison with last year's fourth quarter, and we use that as a benchmark, and you can see that we are pretty much in line, ending the year at 99% of revenues collected. And There are some differences in the various categories. These are our major categories of revenue. The top three are our stationary sources, being that they are emission fees, annual operating fees, and permit fees. And there are some differences. Some are a little bit above budget and some are below budget. But overall, we pretty much collected what we had budgeted. And then mobile source and transportations, slightly below budget, but this is mainly what we reimburse ourselves for activities that are going on in some of the special funds, and also our AB 2766 money that comes in from the state. The other category is a large category that encompasses state funds, federal funds, interest, penalties, hotspots, perps, etc. So pretty much at budget. Area sources is a small category of revenue, but just slightly over budget. And transfers in varies from year to year. Next slide, please. So similarly, this slide is on expenditures, major categories. And you can see once again that we are hitting our budget this is showing like 98% of expenditures. And last year we had 95%. And the main reason for the variance is in the first line, which is salaries and benefits. Last year, our vacancy rate was higher than budget. And this year we were pretty much hovering throughout the year at 13%, which is our budgeted vacancy. And there was some savings in the services and supplies category. And then the other two categories, capital and debt, pretty much coming at a budget. Next slide, please. And this slide is on our use of fund balance. So it's just showing the board approved use of fund balance at about $4.1 million. Next slide, please. And this last slide is on our 5-year projections. So the 5-year projection shows that, these are just some things that I just want to highlight. These are the positions for fiscal year 25-26 are at 1,034. And our vacancy rate that we are assuming going forward is at 13%. We have already projected out revenues by which we can increase revenues, which is CPI, at about 2.5, 2.6% going forward. But we do true that up based on what we actually get when we are developing those budgets. The salary increases that we got have been projected out. And there are some uncertainties that we have not adjusted for, such as any future federal or state funding, loss. So, there are some uncertainties that we have just heard about. So we haven't projected that. We're keeping that at status quo right now. And with that, that ends my presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you for that. Any questions, board members? I am keeping track of online participants, and there hasn't been anybody who requests to speak.
Just a quick one, if I could, Madam Chair. It looks, Wayne, that the chairwoman's goal this year was to, make sure the permitting process goes a lot faster. And it looks like you're making a lot of headway. So I just want to congratulate you. It looks like from those numbers, it's looking good. And just make those comments from the projections to what it is. And so hopefully we're on the right track. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Sujata keeps a very tight leash on all of us.
All
Madam
right.
Chair, just a quick question.
Go ahead.
Sujata, slide 4 on the revenue comparison,
Yes, Vice Chair.
just in the category emission, can you just give me a couple examples on like emission fees? Where's that coming from? I think I know, but I want to be sure I'm right. So where's that coming from? Like what sources?
So emission fees are coming from facilities. I don't know the science of it, but they are the ones that emit above a certain amount. And so they are subject to emission fees.
It could be like an oil refinery or a landfill or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, and then annual operating fees, where's that come from?
Annual operating fees come into play for whichever facilities have a permit with us. It's kind of like I make it sort of akin to like you buy a car, you have a decal, and every year after that, you have to pay the renewal fee.
Oh,
So that's what that's about.
okay. And the permit fee is just to get your first permit to operate the facility like a factory or?
Yes, those are the inventory of permits that are coming through and getting processed, and we get the revenue for that.
So like so difference between permit fee and annual operating is permit fee maybe the first time or
Yes.
operating ongoing, or what's the difference?
Correct.
The-
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, yes, and yes. Oftentimes facilities will upgrade, so they'll have new equipment that they need to bring on board. So there'll be new permitting applications. I think refineries are great examples where there's constantly change at the facility. So you have constant permit applications that are going through. So we get the permit fee recovery through the permit fees. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that facility is done. Many facilities will have constant improvement or changes over time.
And finally, I think you were saying it, but I couldn't understand it. Mobile source transportation, that's a lot of money too, 34.
Yes, so in that category, almost 17 million is coming from the state, which is that AB 2766 money, which we
Oh,
get.
okay.
And the rest is reimbursables for the administrative work that we do for some of the state funds like CAP, Calmoya, Prop 1B, and such.
Thank you very much. When I had the meeting with the bishop, he said, you know, I'm following national politics. Does AQMD have any more money left to give out? He said, here's where we're getting there. I said, we do get funding from permits, but I forgot all these other areas. Thank you very much. Now I can explain it to him.
Good questions. We do have somebody who has their hand raised, Harvey Etter.
Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, Harvey, good morning.
My name's Harvey Etter. I'm speaking for myself and Public Solar Power Coalition, etc. Recently, there's been a lot of talk about the threat to, I've heard an economist say there's a 40% chance of recession now. And the tariffs are the biggest tariffs we've had almost for 100 years since the Depression. So I want to know if there's worst case scenarios about how it's going to affect us and this agency. Also with the Federal Reserve, that it looks like they're going to get rid of the guy that's on there now. And this whole thing about reporting the slowdown in the economy and firing the person from labor. We've got to look at protecting ourselves because we're not getting the truth. All right. So I want to know if there are contingency plans, and if there aren't, I'm saying that there should be, and I'd like to get comments on that. Okay. We had a recession, 10 years ago, and we had a big depression 90 years ago. So what's up? How can we protect ourselves?
Thank you. Wayne, do you want to reply?
From a contingency perspective, we do observe our funding levels, and we work closely with the state legislature as well as Congress to ensure that we have funding. A good example I will say is the president's proposed budget had rescinded all funding, I think, for 103, 105, and a number of other programs. But working with Congress put that back in. I do want to note that that is a very common tactic where the administration will zero something out, knowing that Congress will put it right back in. So for the 103, 105 Indira example, while there were a lot of people that were very concerned, we've seen it before. Congress put the money back in. So we continue to work very closely with the appropriators, with the different stakeholders to make sure that our funding levels meet the necessary requirements. But with regards to our own planning purposes, that's something that we look at in terms of our personnel, the actions that we're taking, and how can we invest funds, right? So that we're maximizing return on some of those funds through the Investment Oversight Committee and the Vice Chair's leadership. So we undertake a number of actions to make sure that we maintain in good financial health, not the least of which is very close financial oversight and controls.
Thank you. All right. With that, we go to Ron Moskowitz for the status report on major ongoing and upcoming projects.
Good morning, Ron Moskowitz, Chief Information Officer and Deputy Executive Officer over Information Management. Information Management is pleased to report the deployment of a new air monitoring website for methyl bromide that will allow visualization of air monitoring efforts in West Long Beach. We also successfully deployed a major enhancement to our Wear Pop program, and our IT team also re-architected our online payment portal to maintain compliance with the payment card industry PCI security standards. And finally, we're excited to announce the launch of our brand new time card system, replacing our legacy platform after many, many years of service. This new system, which we designed and developed in-house, is faster, more intuitive, and streamlines the time card submission process. With a modern interface and improved functionality, it offers smoother and more effective experience for all users while supporting more accurate reporting, better usability, and simplified access. Leveraging the latest technology stack, the new time card system will offer easier maintenance and improved adaptability for future enhancements. Everything else is on schedule. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Board members, any questions?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, and I don't see anyone who has their hand raised, so we'll go to item number 9, which is an action item to authorize the purchase of Microsoft Cloud services. Ron, do you want to guide us through that?
Yes, good morning again. This action is to authorize the executive officer to execute a contract for Microsoft Cloud services with a vendor for a period of 3 years at an estimated cost of $950,000, depending on usage. Sufficient funding for the first year is included in our fiscal year 2025-26 budget, and funding for the remaining 2 years will be included in the subsequent fiscal year budget requests. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Move the item.
Second.
All right, the item's been moved in second. A roll call, please.
Vice Chair Cacchiotti?
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman?
Hagman, aye.
Mayor McCallan, absent. Supervisor Perez, absent. And Chair Delgado?
Yes.
Motion passes 3 with 2 absent.
Thank you, Ron. All right, Sujata Jain has item number 10 for revenue for continued AB 617 implementation.
Good morning again. This action is to recognize revenue for the remainder of the AB 617 grant that we received after the budget was adopted. So this grant in the amount of $20,777,743 came at the end of June 2025. So we had already recognized in the budget $18,506,930. And so we are therefore looking for approval to adopt a resolution to accept the terms and conditions of AB 617 implementation Community Air Protection Program grant award, and to recognize revenue upon receipt of $2,270,813.
I like receiving revenue. Is there a motion here?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Chair Cacchiotti?
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman?
Hagman, aye.
Mayor McCallan, absent. Supervisor Perez, absent. And Chair Delgado?
Yes.
Motion passes 3 with 2 absent.
Thank you, Sujata. Dr. Lowe has an amendment for us. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. Jason Lowe, Deputy Executive Officer for the Monitoring Analysis Division. So for this item, Phillips 66 is operating an optical tent as part of its fence line air monitoring network. And UCLA is providing oversight in the functions of quality assurance and quality control, and that is done through a contract through South Coast AQMD. Thus, this item is to amend the existing contract with Phillips 66 for continued use of the optical tent, and also appropriating and recognizing and appropriating revenue up to $175,000 into the monitoring analysis budget, and also amending the contract with UCLA for 1 more year of their service. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Can you, in less than a minute, describe the optical tent?
Absolutely. So traditional fence line air monitoring systems look along the pathway of the fence line at the ground, but the optical tent is a technology that can actually do that, as well as look above in areas over the refinery or facility to look at pollutants.
Thank you. I'll move the item.
Second.
Okay, Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Cacchiotti,
Yes.
Supervisor Hagman,
Hagman, aye.
Mayor McCallan absent, Supervisor Perez absent, Chair Delgado.
Yes.
Motion passes 3 with 2 absent.
All right, I have no other business. I'll open up for public comment. Do you have anybody there in person? No?
Do not.
Okay, we have one speaker with his hands raised, Harvey Etter.
Hello, am I being heard?
You are, yes.
Can hear you.
Yes, thank you. My name's Harvey Etter. I'm speaking for myself and for Public Solar Power Coalition and like-minded folks and entities. At a meeting of this committee on February 8th of 19, there was an extended discussion with me and Dr. Excuse me, I'm blanking on Burke. All right, and that meeting has been purged. Just before this meeting, I tried again to get that and to listen to it, and it's outrageous. And in that meeting, we discussed solar energy and the work that we've done. And Dr. Burke said, God knows how many years you've been coming here and you've been saying this and that about solar. And we put in a footnote here, a paragraph there. He goes, to my way of thinking, nobody has disagreed with you. To my way of thinking, the guy who managed Muhammad Ali pugilist for 50 years, you must be right, okay? And it resulted in him asking that we write up all this stuff. He said, we cannot ignore the public on solar energy. Now, that has all been purged. It was a little less than an hour. And that's extremely important. And we put that in and the 100 exhibits in the Solar New Deal. And that was never evaluated by this committee, by this entity, or by CARB, or by EPA. It's totally illegal and outrageous. That's from the Department of Energy's Sunshot program. It was modeled after Moonshot. That's how we got to the moon under Kennedy. All right? So this is basic and outrageous. Then we got run out of court 6 years later. I'm incorporating by reference the December 6th meeting.
Item is not within the jurisdiction of this committee. Thank you. We can move on.
Okay, our next meeting is September 12th. See you all then and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, Madam Chair.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.